You ever put bull milk in your grape nuts? It's creamy and gritty.
When the bull's getting milked in the Subaru.
And the sky turns black and gray.
And my pole rolls across corduroy.
What?
The children come out of the corn.
What did you...
Run away, children. This is only for the adults.
And backward skaters.
Oh. This next cast is for adults and backward skaters only.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dane Holland, and I'm the caped crew waiter.
I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer. And was his actual birth name Stephen Harvey?
I'm Marcus, world's leading rainbowologist. I'm Electric Man.
I'm Austin Tiny Zent. And I'm completely unoriginal.
Unlike the rest of this podcast, which is Nerd It Through the Grapevine, a podcast, like I just mentioned before, where four best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture.
Brought to you by Subaru. Oh, man. So, let me tell
Not
you
a
something.
sponsor.
Let me tell
yeah, thank you.
If I could be sponsored by somebody, Subaru would be one of the sponsors I would accept. I would also accept the Hyundai to have the new Santa Cruz to sponsor us because it is a sport adventure vehicle, and so is this podcast. So what I would like to talk about is something that I got into this week a little bit and just thinking, because there was a very big spree in time to where there were found footage movies. Does everybody remember that stupid crap?
The Blair Witch.
The Blair Witch started this,
The
yes?
Blair Witch started it.
The Blair Witch started it.
And that tripped me out for a second because it was so well delayed in the way that it happened. Anyway, no, it started with the Blair Witch Project, and then they got into more movies that kind of circulated around that idea of, then you got I found this tape, and this tape is the last documented evidence of da 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 da. They got into it with aliens, and they did that movie, The Fourth Kind. You remember that? With was it Mila Jovovich? Is that her name?
Yeah.
She was in it.
Watch your mouth.
It was a very That was a very kind of screechy, eerie style movie to me. Like, it wasn't as much spooky as it was like this could be the side of paranormal stuff that gets crossed over into the science fiction alien stuff.
You know what I think ruined it?
What?
Was because of exactly what you're talking about. They were trying to pass themselves off as some found footage movie.
Yeah.
I think that is what killed it for me, because then I'm
insane.
just like, I don't know. It didn't work. Kind of thing.
But some of them did it well.
Well, when they first come out, we were young men. We were what? 10, 11?
There's no need to feel down.
And now we're just gray beards.
I got a point. And at that time, I couldn't do the spooky movies. They all terrified me, every single one of them. Even Dracula Dead and Loving It. That movie terrified me as a child. So I might be one of the weird ones.
Dracula Dead and Loving It? What is that?
It's an old Leslie Nielsen flick.
That should be great then. I need to watch
It's
that.
hilarious now that I'm an adult and not a child that's terrified by everything.
I'm an adult that's terrified by spooky stuff.
The one that I think did a fantastic job of doing a seldom sought-after perspective, being that they had made fun of, at this point, it came out in 2012 when this movie was happening, but at that point they had evolved past a lot of the misconceptions of the found footage movies, so they made one intentional and shot awesome.
Debbie Does Dallas.
Jesus Christmas.
Well,
No. Chronicle was a found footage film that
Vin
was
Diesel.
that was shot from the perspective of a camera held with the superpowers given to an individual.
Oh,
And
Riddick.
that-
He held it telekinetically.
yes, these kids discover where a crash landed site from like an asteroid had hit. And you watched this movie. You liked this movie, Dane.
Okay.
A bottom droid.
Sure.
Chronicle is a 2012 American found footage science fiction thriller film. It was the first of its kind to actually feature the powers being used as a perspective piece. So what the kids that went down into this crash site found, they touched it. It gave them powers. And then when they got these powers, the bullied one, who was really abused by his stepfather, ended up actually beating his stepfather almost to death and like bringing the house almost down on him. And then he went on a rampage into town and all this other stuff. Do you know? You recall that?
I vaguely remember them testing to see if they could fly and jumping up in the air in like some kind of waste-filled landfill place. Is this wrong? Am I incorrect?
They did all of this.
Did they do that?
And it was a quarry.
It was a quarry that they did that? You're thinking of the Power Rangers
I am
movie.
thinking Power Rangers. No, the jumpy scene.
I don't know, man. That could be from a totally different movie.
jumpy
I
scene
have
happened because
no
they were learning
idea.
how to fly. No, it was a junkyard.
Yeah, Junkyard. That's the
Yes.
one. Okay, so this is the film you're speaking
Yes,
of.
Junkyard.
So I remember that one part of the whole thing.
Can we go ahead and do spoilers?
There are no spoilers. This is from 2012. If you
There are always spoilers.
No,
There's always
tiny-
spoilers.
no,
This is
that-
a really good movie.
Yeah, if
People
somebody's
wanna
never
watch it.
heard of it before.
but
Most
okay,
people probably
if you've never
haven't.
heard of Chronicle before, and it sounds like something that can intrigue
Well,
you if you enjoy superhero
And nothing I'm going to
stuff.
say is going to ruin the movie.
Okay, well then no spoilers.
There's just that one part where some jackass is being mean in traffic or something behind him, and the
Yep.
one you're talking about, the one that was kind of bullied or whatever, is like looking back there, and he's just like, you can see his mind turning. All the other kids in the car just chilling, and then he just like whoosh, slaps him right off the road with his powers.
and he realizes
That was
at
a really
point,
cool scene.
Yeah, 'cause
That's
you-
what made me remember like what he was talking about.
Oh, okay.
I love the shift in it, but it also shows that the shift isn't necessarily a good thing because
Right, he
you've
turns
got-
into a villain basically.
because they took a classic trope of the beat down, bullied kid standing up for himself, but this standing up for yourself also is accompanied with newly found superpowers. And how far will you go? Nothing can stop you, so you believe. You're going to take out everybody that stands in your way because that's all anybody's ever done to you. You're downtrodden, you're broken. You're going to have yours, no matter who gets hurt in the way, because nobody cares if you got hurt.
Right.
So honest, it was a good story. I liked it a lot. The film's perspective was great for me. Have you seen it, Tiny?
No, but it sounds a lot like the premise of Brightburn.
I was going to mention Brightburn. I've not seen it, but I've seen the trailer and it looks really cool.
It's sadly, it's not as cool as you think.
Oh, yeah,
Like it's
go figure.
it's a cool idea. It's poor execution.
Heard that.
See, Brightburn was just literally a dark take on Superman mythos.
Yeah.
So you took Superman, you said, I want Superman instead of he comes to Earth and he's an alien and he wants to do good. What if he comes to Earth and he's actually driven by an evil purpose? Which,
Is Cloverfield considered one of these types of films? But because it's not
Yes.
like found footage, it's like live footage.
it's a
Depending on
found
the
footage.
Cloverfield.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first Cloverfield was a found footage.
Because none of the other ones have been like that. The other ones are more classically filmed.
Yeah,
But
I hated the first Cloverfield. I got sick.
I liked it, but
Yeah.
I think I saw it in theaters.
Home movie, not so bad. Theater, sicky pukey.
Yeah, it
Too
was
much jerk
pretty sicky.
motion.
A lot of it.
Second Cloverfield.
I don't know how Paul Rubens did it.
Was it the second Cloverfield? Like Cloverfield Lane? That
Yes.
was the superior movie out of all of them.
Is it because John Goodman was in it?
I mean, John Goodman's great, but it was just the superior movie.
Anybody seen Cloverfield Paradox?
Yes.
I
I
liked
love
that one.
it.
I liked that one. All right.
Actually, I like all the Cloverfield movies.
yeah,
I think
it's a cool little universe.
it is. It's very cool.
Maybe a future topic.
I mean, supposedly, they're supposedly like each time the movies come out, there's been an ARG. What's the name of the company that's in the universe?
Is it the Hanso Foundation or
No, It's the other one, the company that actually like sent them up into space and whatnot.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
can't
remember.
remember.
Anyway, supposedly, isn't it Michael Bay that made them?
J.J. Abrams?
Abrams, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Supposedly on J.J. Abrams' feed, he posted for roughly 45 minutes the picture of the emblem of the company. So it leads me to believe that another one is in the works, and so an ARG is in play.
Cool.
And you see, that's the whole reason why I brought up Chronicle in the first place, because today I discovered that they are doing a sequel to it.
Oh, nice.
And I don't often get excited about sequels, but I thought the Chronicle was an original enough story told from an original enough perspective. And it took a really dark turn, but it was also kind of like, it was all understandable. Like, you kind of felt for these characters. You felt for their situations. You understood why. It wasn't just a drastic, like, snap of the finger Daenerys Targaryen kind of situation where it's like, no.
Don't you dare.
I'm sorry. I got to bring her up. I mean, instant
She is my queen.
Khaleesi.
She was my Khaleesi, and don't you say any different.
And for the love of God, people, stop naming your child Khaleesi. It's not a name. It is a title. Stop it.
My little baby's going to go on a murderous rampage. I named her cause of it. I named her for the end of the season.
Yeah, I like the movies where kids get powers are really neat because
Shazam?
if they're done well, yeah, like Shazam is a perfect example of it because it can get a little boring when adults get powers, but when kids do, they have some interesting ways of using them, and as they mature, like finding how immature they really are with these abilities, like it's a lot of fun.
So is there any news about this sequel? Like, where are they going to go from? I haven't seen the movie probably since 2012, so.
As reported on superherohype.com, one of my favorite websites to go to for all things superhero.
I'm going to point back at you.
If
It was Tagarado.
Oh, Tagarado. Okay, you got two websites you can visit if you ever want to get into some stuff where you're going to find out a little spoilery things. They tag spoiler stuff real heavy, but I just was like, I haven't got on superhero hype in a long time. Are there any movies coming out that I haven't heard about? And it said 20th Century Fox Studios developing Chronicle 2. Adam B. Very said, I'm hearing the Chronicle 2 news is way premature. A source familiar. Hold on a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sick-a-tick-a-boom-boom. Ding, ding.
Yeah, Daddy.
A source familiar with the project says there's been no movement whatsoever on it, meaning no creatives are formally attached. And the reported woman-focused concept is only an early idea. I also produced John Davis, who Forbes Q&A launched the Chronicle 2 reports, but said he could not comment about the project at this time. Bottom line, script development takes a long time. So let me tell you something I really hate, guys. I hate when people form opinions based off of what headlines say. Did anybody get a good vibe about that movie being produced and coming on out?
Sounds like it's not happening whatsoever.
Yeah.
Not a single bit.
But you,
Why did you lie to
told
me?
us it was going to happen.
Because that's exactly what I was fed on that headline.
So you read the headline and said, "Oh man, I could do a topic over this second coming of this movie."
No.
And then you read the rest of the thing. You read what the story was, and it turns out
Yeah.
it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it was actually a bunch of bullshit,
but
guys.
now it's going to happen.
Look,
But that's the reason that I'm actually flowing with this so well is because there has not been a continuation of one of my favorite original style superhero tellings, and I wanted it so much to be true, and it's not. So I need it to be brought into fruition with the powers vested in us by the Grapevine universe.
I'm going to be real honest here. While you was reading that, I completely blanked and don't have a clue what you said.
Pick up the cowbell and shake it now, hurry!
But
it is now canonized.
Here's the thing. I was trying to figure out where my boy Riddick fits into all this.
Chronicles of Riddick is a completely different movie based off of the Pitch Black series, which was a sci-fi series starring Vin Diesel and none of his family.
Very true. Well, the argument could be made that the people on the ship were his family.
No, they weren't related at all.
Not by blood. Family is not always people who you're related to. Sometimes family are the people you choose to be with.
Oh, so it's more than blood. It's family.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of
unless
here.
you're in Olive Garden, because when you're there, you're all family.
And you're all in ICP makeup
Yes.
because it is Olive Garden with ICP. Oh my gosh! Because when you are there, you're. Oh my! Yo, that is that's an inception I couldn't imagine.
And for the love of God, do not sleep with a coworker if you work at Olive Garden, because that is illegal. That is gross. That is popular on Pornhub, and that is incest.
So hold on a second. So what you're saying is that is the ultimate in twisting within itself of the family idea, because you've got a Olive Garden full of ICP members that are just when you're here, your family, your family.
It sounds like a big poop tornado. You can't even cut that with a pie server.
What are you talking about?
Probably what happens after they all get through eating all of that food.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That would be a
Kind of
mess.
looks like this.
You don't. I'm glad this is a visual medium.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, guys, it looks like this too.
That was for us.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just, I liked the idea that Chronicle is going to get a sequel. I want it to be canon that it's going to get a sequel. It's not likely at this point that it's going to get a sequel, but at the same time, I waited around for close to 20 years for somebody to push forward on making a Shazam movie. And by the time they finally made a Shazam movie, I enjoyed it a lot. So, Stranger Things have happened, and
Yeah, the show.
yeah,
Since
3
then,
seasons.
three
seasons.
Stranger Things have had. It's
Just in case.
yeah.
Just in case there was any questions. Stranger Things has happened, which is also a shitty show.
Oh my God! What if they canceled Stranger Things tomorrow
they
because
do.
we just said there were only 3 seasons?
I hope they do. The show's terrible. I barely made it through the first season.
This ultra popular show that so many people love on Netflix, that as soon as
That's
the new
because-
season drops, everybody stops what they're doing and watches it and talks about it for weeks at a time.
It's a very superficial show. And people
There
are
we
very
go.
shallow.
There we go. I'll take that. That's what it's for.
Yeah,
It's for a younger
But
crowd to
I
enjoy
am.
that kind of
I am happy that the poor guy that had no teeth got some teeth, because he looks happy about that.
There's that. Well,
he had some kind of
teeth thing.
yes,
No
some
teeth
kind
thing.
of disorder. So that was cool to see.
Right. You know what would also be cool to see? If Reddit would ask the grapes questions, because they ask questions,
Oh,
but
man, I
sometimes
hate this.
Reddit didn't ask the grapes. And this week, the Redditor that didn't ask us a question was Teutonic Action. That's the Reddit user's name. They ask, not us.
I like it.
It's great. How do you think Batman would do if he was to do your job for a day?
Servant of justice.
Yes. So let's say one day I call in sick and there's nobody to be able to cover the shift, but there's Batman because he's the coworker we need, but not the coworker we deserve. Austin, how would Batman do at your job for one day?
At my job for one day, they would walk in and you'd hear the sound of the door as the pressure leaves the cabin, which is the shop, because that's the only way that you know the door's opening. We don't have a ding-dong system. So
We got a bunch of ding-dongs that work there, though.
a whole lot of ding-dongs that work there, but no ding-dong system for the door. But it sounds literally like that pressurized thing happening. So they'd walk into the shop and they'd find nobody there working, and they'd approach the counter and try to look for someone. And they would notice the television being on over on the opposite side of where the counter is located. And by the time they look back behind the counter, "Can I help you?" And they would just be startled. And by the time they noticed again, there would be a big puff of smoke. Or is it? And that is
it's vape.
they're like, what are you doing? I'm Vape Man. So he would automatically be the most intelligent vape connoisseur you've ever seen. Why? Because he is the world's greatest detective.
So he would change his name from Batman to Vape Man?
Yeah. Because he doesn't want to be associated as Batman in the vape store. He doesn't want that.
That's bad for his brand.
That's bad for his brand. It's
Okay.
very off-brand. He likes cigars and razor blades on your throat, not actual, not actual vaping.
And with his IQ of 192, which is canonical, by the way, he would know everything about vape technology and the art of vapor.
Yeah, that'd be something that would be definitely interesting to see him take. I think that he needs to have his own vape that Alfred designed him, and he had instantly produced just for this situation.
What would Batman's vape look like? Hold on. No, that's a real question I just asked. Hold on. What would Batman's vape look like?
It would just be just a plain black box that had just a sticker on the side of it, and that sticker just says "Justice." And his he would be running a vengeance tank.
Okay.
I don't know if those exist, but
They
they
do
should.
now.
I mean, a vengeance tank on top of his justice mod, and I think that
What kind of vape juice does Batman vape?
Is this a regulated device or a mechanical device?
it's much like a hexome where it's got the potentiometer on the side to decide your voltage
Perfect.
based on the twist. So I would say that if you're going to be doing that, he'd have a warm bakery flavor that reminded him of his parents.
God.
Taste
So
the taste.
every time Batman vapes, he thinks of Martha and Thomas.
Yeah, and on Spotify on the television, playing in the background is "Kiss from a Rose."
See, I thought it would be. I thought,
Baby, don't hurt me.
I thought it would be something with menthol because of the Joe Cool situation.
No,
Oh, okay.
wrong.
Okay.
It's okay though.
Marcus, Joe Cool is who killed Batman's parents in the alleyway.
And then became a camel, and
Well,
then
he's-
sold Winston cigarettes.
He's like one of 4 different people that have killed Batman's parents.
True.
Well, it was actually Camel that sold Camel brand cigarettes. Joe Cool was the Camel.
Right.
Yeah. Unlike the Marlboro Man who died
Now,
from cancer.
now we know a lot more about Batman's vape life.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad about it. Tiny, if Batman were to do your job for a day, what would that be like?
Okay, so I work at the most prestigious college in our town. I am a chef in the kitchen. So I don't know how slip resistant his bat boots are.
Very.
I would assume so.
Very.
Being,
He deals with Miss
he-
Freeze. So.
Yeah, he deals with the slimy underbelly of the city. But, I would call him up and be like, bro, can you cover me? Because I'm like real bad sick. I'm down with the sickness. And he'd be like, I got you. So he would show up.
That's when you go, ooh, I really appreciate it.
Yes, exactly. So he would walk in the door and he would clock in with his own number that he inputted into the system himself. Or Alfred might have done it.
Alfred probably did it.
Alfred does everything.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
actually the world's greatest detective.
Hold on.
just
Alfred's retired MI6, but we're not talking about that right now. Anyway, so he would walk in and he would look at the menu of what he needed to get prepared for that day. And upon seeing the menu, he would begin to pull the things out of the freezer that need to be pulled out of the freezer and the things out of the produce cooler that need to be pulled out of there and begin to chop and slice and slack out and thaw the various foods and consumables required for the meal that he is going to push out. He would have his own set of
you
knives
thought it.
that would probably be just straight up black.
Well, it's just batarangs.
No,
Yeah.
actual like chef's knives. You ever tried to cut with
Oh,
something
okay.
bat shaped? I haven't, but I bet it's awful.
The back side would be the bat shape, though. It'd be like that shelf over there.
That everyone can see. Yeah, that is just like
Maybe.
it.
Maybe. So he would cut and slice and
Serrated or
dice. No, I don't know. He wouldn't use serrated unless he was cutting like fruit or bread.
right? Of course.
The problem is his cape would get hung on the I don't know the technical term, but there's a turny-do on the bottom of the kettle that opens the drainy drain to rush out the gross, or the remnants. So his cape would probably get hung, so it'd end up either taking it off or tying it around him like an apron.
Well, yeah, because he could cut a hole like 4/5 up the way to the top,
Yeah.
and flip it over his head to where his head goes through that hole, and then now he's got the cape as an apron on the front.
Exactly.
It's a capron.
It's a capron.
Capron.
Thank you.
And he probably wouldn't have to listen for people to yell corner or sharp or anything because he's wearing a rubber suit. You're not getting through that. It's made to withstand knives and things. And I feel like he would be serving up some delicious justice and food to the deserving students at the college campus.
You think that a man who spends his days and, well, mainly nights, fighting criminals in the streets, who has a butler that has made every meal for him since he was born, you think that man knows how to cook?
Yes.
Well, he spends
You
all
think
night.
the Batman knows?
He spends all night stewing his meat in that rubber suit.
Gross.
So yes, he could. He'd probably make a crazy delicious braised beef.
Braised beef? Mm-hmm.
That's really gross.
There's a bat cow. They have a bat cow in the bat cave sometimes. I don't know how much beef he likes to cook.
I'm just talking about like the beef that's in the
Sealed.
In the
cooler.
suit? The beef in the suit?
No.
He is a beefy
he
boy.
would use the product at work. But I'm just saying he's used to stewing meats.
I would love it if Batman could just be Batman there. Just
Still fight justice.
Watching out for the rowdy students.
like he's just there's the hall monitor also, but
No, you can't have 4 pieces
but
of bacon. You got to come back through the line to get the other 2.
exactly like 1 panini per pass.
Well, who gets 4 pieces of bacon?
Justice cooks.
Yeah, because I'm a smart boy. I go around to the back to the hot box and get my extra pieces of bacon.
Tell me more about this hot box of yours.
It's the box in which we house the backups for what's on the line.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's the hot box.
Marcus, what's Batman doing at your job? What's he going to do there for the day?
I'm gonna let you take this one.
Why?
Because we work at the same place.
We do, but this means I wanted to serve this up to you as a
Okay.
waiter myself.
Okay.
wanna set the
Well,
situation out.
he's. You know how you kind of like spy on people to like see what they need before they need it,
All the time. I feel like Batman doing
right?
that
So
most
he's
of the
like
time.
in the rafters of the restaurant doing that. So he can like. Plus, he's spying on the kitchen. Like he probably knows like at each level of like where they're done cooking. So he's already got all that information. Excuse me.
Oh, you're starting to sound like Batman. This is good.
Bruce,
That was
Are
the
you
plan.
Dollar
No.
General
No, I
Batman
literally just
too?
needed to clear my throat. But I definitely see him like that. And, of course, he's here 1 second, he's not the next second thing. That would be funny to all the old people. He like literally comes from the rafters where he's hanging out. Like he just delivers it with his grappling hook.
see, but he can't punch him, kick him while he's there, so he's losing his patience as well.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like he would get really bored.
Would there be little flashlights to shine up if he doesn't notice that your beverage is empty?
So he'd be slipping up a little bit. He's running around and he's trying to make sure everybody's satisfied, and that's not his game.
No, not at all.
Everybody being satisfied? No. Everybody living to see tomorrow? That's Bruce Wayne / Batman in game. You're going to live to see tomorrow.
In game was Marvel.
Sorry.
In game was
I
Marvel.
can't-
That Batman's not in
know,
that.
I know that's the different universe.
Yeah.
Don't
Tony
give away
Stark.
his secret identity.
See, I feel like he would, like you mentioned, like he's spying on the kitchen, and he would just kind of, grapple his way down there, and they wouldn't even know he's behind him. He's like, "You're gonna want to flip that," and then they turn around and he's just gone. So every single one of his steaks for all of his tables are
This person
perfect.
likes it juicy.
Oh my god!
They come in every time.
And the thing is that really trips everybody out is the new district manager comes through that week, and it happens to be Bruce Wayne.
Did you guys happen to see the new waiter you got? I heard he's the best.
You mean that creepy guy that's like hanging up in the rafters by our
he
sideways
does
ceiling
it
fan?
because it's done best that way. He knows what he's doing.
Oh
But he's hanging out by the sideways ceiling fan like a creeper.
I only give silent service.
Well, the steak is undercooked. Send it back.
No, by
I
that
swear.
point, that's when the grappling hook would just come down and take it.
I swear, if they overcook my steak one more, swear to me. And then he clocks out. He's gone. His day's over with.
And then he comes back in with eyeliner on, and he tries to balance the budget for the day.
Have you been in the bathroom crying? No. What are you talking about?
Why does your voice sound like you've been singing metal for the last 3 hours? Are you okay, Bruce? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Justice prevailed today.
I'm so unprepared. So there's this myth that a lot of people like to, used to kind of talk about how if you sync up the classic rock and roll album by Pink Floyd called Dark Side of the Moon with Wizard of Oz. Has anybody heard of this? It's
Yeah,
called Dark Side of the Rainbow.
We've talked about it before on the podcast.
Has anybody done a topic on it?
Is that-
Am I rehashing?
No.
Okay, good.
Is that what causes women to sync up when they're on their cycle?
I
Or am I thinking about something else?
No, that's
I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's
Oh,
the
that's
beat.
Shark Week. Never mind.
No, Tiny. That's what you're thinking about is the beat of the music in the spin class. That's what keeps everybody on beat and in the same cycle.
Oh,
God,
okay.
man.
when we were reimagining, what's the movie?
Wizard of Oz?
The Wizard of Oz. We had mentioned something about the Pink
Okay.
Floyd album. I think. I think we did.
Well, that's funny.
If not, it was rolling through my brain.
Yeah. Well, has anybody ever seen Dark Side of the Rainbow?
I have seen the Jizzard of Oz.
Hold on. I think
Okay, I've not really seen that. I just made that up on the spot.
that's not even a movie.
It could be.
It is now. It's the title of a podcast episode. I know that much.
We could make it.
The Jizzard of Oz.
We're gonna make that after this.
No, we're not. No, sir.
I vote to be the Jizzard of Oz.
Oh my gosh! And then the only thing you hear for the theme song of the it's like if Tiny Tim were to sing "Somewhere Over the Rainbow."
Oh my goodness.
Marcus, what were you talking about?
Sorry.
No,
Before we
please.
got here?
So yeah, it's just basically some guy wrote this article because I guess he was so stoned that he decided to sync up Pink Floyd and The Wizard of Oz. And I guess from his article he wrote, it kind of became this myth and like almost kind of conspiracy theory. But most of it's about what you'd expect. It doesn't really make that much sense, but there are a couple of really cool parts for sure. The Great Gig in the Sky, especially. I mean, I watched that and it's like it almost could be the music video. So, in my opinion, that part's really cool, but it's like, obviously they didn't intend for this to happen. And so it just kind of sparks this question in my mind, like how many other movies could you set not only to Dark Side of the Moon, but to any like record?
Explain how you would set it. Is it like using the album as the background music without the with the dialogue, or do you cut the dialogue out as well?
Well, I don't know. I didn't invent a scientific
Because I mean, you could
rubric
say-
for it, but there's this guy that did though. Because Dane, one of your favorite podcast guys, has another podcast called Paul Blart. What is it? What's the thing?
Till death do us blart.
Okay, well, so they decide on their yearly viewing of this movie to do it set to Dark Side of the Moon, and basically found that it's even better than the Pink Floyd one. So this guy on YouTube called No Nerds Allowed I know. I don't tell anybody I was there.
Yeah, that's
watching his stuff. But he actually did make like a rubric
I'm gonna call the police.
on which to judge these movies by. And he was like given like when lyrics sync up with like what's happening on the screen, that's like 3 points. Just general vibe is like 1 point. And Paul Blart actually does like way better than Pink Floyd based on the rubric. And I just thought that was such a cool idea that I want to try. It just gives me endless possibilities.
I know for a fact that there are several movies that I have watched that have had, the TV playing on one side of the house and the music being on another part of the house, and then it sync up in a way that it's not supposed to. We discovered this with the Incredible Hulk movie with, who was it that was the actor?
Bana?
No, not Bana. It was the one after
Norm
Norton?
McDonald.
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton. There it is.
Yeah.
Norm McDonald as the Hulk.
Norm McDonald. Oh my God. No,
Set to Dark Side of the Moon.
Jeremy.
but no, you had who did you? Why did you say Ron Jeremy? As soon as you said Ron Jeremy, then I couldn't think of
He's
his
still
name.
thinking of the Jizzard of
I
Oz.
don't even know what I'm saying
But
right now.
apparently not. But what is it was a Skrillex song. We were watching like this action scene.
Blame it on my ADD, baby.
That's yeah. That,
Sail. This is how the angels cry. This is how I eat my fries. Blame it on my VHS, baby. This is how
Honey,
the world ends.
to take a break?
I think I'm having a stroke. Everything tastes like toast.
There was a scene in this Hulk movie to where it's a big fight scene, and on the back of these army trucks, not sure. Yeah,
Were they melting? This is important.
they could have if the Hulk were a little sexier. But the way they were causing the Hulk to kind of shut down or whatever was they had these giant speakers emitting this certain frequency. And as soon as the beat dropped in this Skrillex song, those speakers emitted that like vibrating like the air like around it, and we lost it.
Yeah.
There were no drugs or alcohol involved, so we were soberly enjoying this.
Yeah.
You got ASMR.
And
We did.
hard. And just when that happened, all of a sudden we just got on this kick to where we wanted to find as many movies as we could that would sync up to dubstep. And is it The Expendables? I think that was the
my
next
God.
one that we had
Yeah,
done.
I can't remember if it was one or
And
two.
that was too easy because
Yeah.
it's all action.
Just
like
straight
the
up,
whole
just
thing.
no plot needed. Just mute the TV, watch it boom with these big noises going on
It's
behind it.
better than if you watch it unmuted without dubstep.
Yeah. but-
So
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to try that. But I don't know. I'm sure that there are, just like I said, endless possibilities. And so I wanted to kind of hear some of like take a classic album and, a somewhat decent movie.
go on.
I've got one.
Okay, go.
Master of Puppets and Pinocchio.
Ooh.
That's much better than the one I had in mind.
I've got to hear this now.
What, mine or
No,
his?
Master of Puppets over while watching Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Okay, like, when he's getting all donkey-fied,
Yeah.
you got the cigar and stuff. Master of Puppets, I'm pulling your strings.
But see, that's the thing. There'll be so many unexpected moments because we have to start the album when the movie starts, and then you can't sync it up as you go. You know what I mean? It's just you
it'd
put
be
them together.
You'd kind of have to have it on a loop.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Length is
That's
an
what you do
issue.
with Dark Side of the Rainbow or whatever.
Really, it starts right at it finishes the album and it starts right
It
at back at
loops,
the
yeah.
beginning?
But
Oh,
you've
okay.
basically already seen all the cool parts. I
Right,
mean, literally to
yeah.
me, like, don't get your hopes up when you're going in to watch Dark Side of the Rainbow. There are some really cool parts, like I said. There's to me, the Great Gig in the Sky is like happening during the tornado scene,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just so cool. Like, there's a lot of little weird vibe things. Maybe the terpenes help you get into it a little bit, but go in with an open mind.
At the
But it's
same
really
time.
cool. And then the Lollipop Guild kind of comes and kicks during Money, and then the little ballerinas come out during Us and Them, and so it's just there's some really cool parts to it. Other than that, once the album loops back over, garbage.
I think that my favorite part of Pinocchio with Master of Puppets playing, would be the part to where Pinocchio is trapped inside of that Mr. Stromboli's like his travel trailer thing that he pulls all the puppet show in, and he throws them in there and locks them up. You know, and when the Master of Puppets album's playing at that point, it's Sanitarium. Welcome to where time stands still. No one leaves and no one will.
How do you remember the parts from Pinocchio?
I know, it's so
Get
old.
behind that.
I haven't
It's a really good one, though.
watched that in so long.
I haven't either.
Like maybe play Battery when Geppetto's getting swallowed by the whale.
Slashing up the axe and returning.
Geppetto gets swallowed by a whale?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Do you know a
yeah.
monstro?
Yeah.
You don't know what a
Definitely, I remember that part.
I don't remember it at all.
I love that this is an audio thing that we do here, because most of the time when I do stupid stuff, when I'm talking to people, they don't ever get to hear it. But like that Geppetto and them talking underwater, do you know anybody named Monstro?
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's not an effect. I haven't done this in post.
Yeah.
That's live.
So that's just, it's funny.
Post Malone.
What would be the best movie for Jimmy Buffett to score with one of his albums that already exist?
Surf Ninjas.
What did you say?
Surf Ninjas.
Surf Ninjas. Did you ever see Surf
I don't
Ninjas?
know.
Wansu,
I've never even heard
dude.
of it.
Oh, it's so
Never even heard of
great.
it. I was
They were
thinking
ninjas
Transformers
that
for Jimmy Buffett, just to impose
Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
See, I like that because a thing with like scary like scary trailers and stuff for like video games and whatnot, accompanied by soft, simple music, like melodic things, makes it a whole lot creepier. So I think like combining a spooky movie with something like Celine Dion or something, I don't know, would be great.
That'd actually be very
Yeah.
artistic. I would love that more than anything. If you could just make me a Diva Mix CD. If there's an album out there that we can find that's maybe from like the Now series, that's like
Now
that's
that's what I call
Divas Volume something.
Okay.
Just play that CD, that album, if you will.
Like
to,
a compilation.
to like Saw.
Yes.
And it's just somebody screaming because
they
they're
saw
getting
their hand off.
they're getting their hand sawed off.
But it
Yes.
arouses
Take that.
a question inside of me.
Gross.
Okay, so if you had to pick a ghost to haunt you in a completely harmless manner, what kind of ghost would you pick and what activities would they perform?
So
As an example, I'll give you my answer. I want like an old, like Moby Dick style captain. Like he'll hunt whales in my living room at like 6 p.m. Like that's what he's doing. Like no sound, throwing a harpoon at this whale that you see all that.
well, you
And
can see the
then-
whale too.
Yeah. The whale, they're a package deal. And then at like 8:30 p.m., he's in the shower, but he's steering like the wheel of his boat. And like he has no idea that he's not just going about his daily life. He's just there, just doing his thing. I think that would be awesome. I'd let people take a shower and not tell them.
Would his name be Mobu Dick?
No,
Would his name be Mobu?
I'd probably call him like Captain Mobius or something.
Oh, that's not as funny as
That's
mine,
not-
though.
no.
Mine was funny. Mine had Boo in it because he's a ghost. And ghosts are scary to me. They're all going to be spooky. And I have to pick one?
Yeah,
Dang.
he's going to live with you for the rest of your life.
I think that I would want to have the ghost of the first person to ever dress in a Mickey Mouse costume at the Walt Disneyland theme park.
That's terrifying.
I want the ghost of the first person that ever wore that costume to still be in costume, and I want him to only be activated if somebody in my house watches a Disney movie that is the same Disney movie more than once a month. I want him to show up as punishment and vengeance for there are more things to watch than this movie again.
Oh, man. I don't want anybody to haunt me. I'm trying to think of somebody that'd be fun.
Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's kind of a little bit of like what you said, that, that kind of crusty old whale,
Yeah.
captain. But
His
except
daughter's
he's-
a whale.
Is she?
Yeah.
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 His daughter is a whale.
Yes, she is.
Is he hunting his own daughter and yours?
Well, no, I'm just saying they're kind of the
okay,
same,
good.
gruff personality.
Right,
except
right.
he's just like greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who would haunt me.
I don't know any dead people. Who's dead?
Yeah, I don't know if Krusty the Krab is dead.
No, you mean you mean Mr. Krabs?
Yeah, whatever.
Is Mr. Krabs dead?
Did I just say Krusty the Krab?
Yeah.
You did.
Did
Who's
you
that?
say
You did.
Krusty the Krab's from The Simpsons?
No, that's Krusty
That's
the Clown.
Krusty the Clown.
Oh no!
Something is happening to me.
I feel like my mind's been freaked.
Where's Chris?
I'm about to freak your mind, man.
Stop putting things in our bodies, David Blaine.
The actor that played Chewbacca, he had passed, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Mayhew?
Yes.
Bless you.
He had passed, unfortunately. But I think him in full Chewbacca costume, I think that would be a good one.
Like a Force ghost of Chewie.
Exactly.
Nice.
He deserves it.
And you know what?
No.
He
No,
should
he got
show
a
up-
medal. He'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
He should
He
show
don't
up
need afterlife.
every third alarm snooze. He shows up just in your bedroom. Just
Thank you, Chewie. Yeah, he could make my life better, I think.
That's awesome. So my real topic revolves around the future of nerd culture.
Okay.
So within the next month or so, Wizards of the Coast is releasing a new source book for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. It's based around one of my favorite characters ever written, just period. It's called Fizband's Treasury of Dragons. And for, most people don't know, Fizband the Fabulous, he's a bumbling old wizard that he's just seems like an idiot, bumbling around, doing a bunch of crazy stuff, but he knows things because he's really the divine avatar of the ultimate god of good. A few people know. Most people don't. So that's what's great.
Does he know?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
okay.
He won't tell you.
Okay,
He won't tell you unless it's, his time to go off and do other shit.
I got you.
Do like God shit.
Okay, yeah.
And in this book, this book is the Treasury of Dragons. So what they've done is they're introducing gem dragons to 5th edition. I don't really know what a gem dragon is. I've only played 5e.
They're really good at dodgeball. Yeah, they have to take
Pull-ups.
showers after they get it right. They can climb ropes really well.
GEM, like Jewel. Oh. Yeah, sorry.
Jewel, so they're good at music? They can...
No, like like gemstones.
Okay.
No, Jim Jones.
Right.
They're also going to reveal the story of the first world in the role of Bahamut and Tiamat and how they played into the creation and destruction of that world.
Now that's cool
Yes.
because how does that pronounce?
Bahamut.
Bahamut.
Or
And
Bahamut.
Tiamat
Bahamut,
are
yeah.
both dragons.
Yes,
Yes.
they're dragon deities.
Yes.
Fizband is his god name is Paladin, which is essentially Bahamut. Same person, different author, different universe kind of thing.
Oh.
They're adding new player character options, including unique draconic ancestries for Dragonborn. They're adding more dragon-themed subclasses. They're adding them to monks and rangers, and they're adding new feats and spell options. So they're adding more draconic ancestry things to different classes besides sorcerer and dragonborns, which is a race, not a class. But
Yeah.
so it opens up to more options for your character to have.
So wait, you can have dragon ancestry and dragon style abilities, but you don't have to walk around looking like a giant lizard anymore.
Yeah.
So it's Skyrim.
Yeah, you could be an elf with that. Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
Yeah.
Or
Or
just
just
like
like-
Dovahkiin.
Blood of the dragon.
well, Vos Rada.
Yeah, exactly. They're even adding things for DMs to help them craft adventures inspired by dragons across the worlds of D&D. They're adding dragon lair maps and details on 20 new different kinds of dragons, because we all know the basic metallic and chromatic, but they're adding more dragons because right now you have young dragon, middle-aged dragon, ancient dragon, and a lich, which is basically a dead dragon. That's the only dragons we got, people.
Undead dragon.
Yeah, that's what a lich is.
The colored dragons. What about a green dragon and a white dragon?
That's
and,
chromatic.
Those are chromatic
Yeah.
because chromatic is color.
Right.
Yeah.
And metallic is like gold, brass.
Yes. Those things. I've never encountered a dragon in all my games of Dungeons and Dragons because they never go long enough to where my level can be able to go up against one.
I've introduced young dragons to players at level 5.
Young dragons? Okay.
Yeah.
So you
not the ancient dragons, but
Right.
young ones.
Okay. Marcus, have you ever encountered a dragon?
I have not. No.
No?
No. You know, but I don't know out of the few times I've actually gamed how many of those were actually set in the D&D world.
Oh, more homebrew things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's any world that you play D&D in is a D&D world. It don't have
Right.
to be like Forgotten Realms or Dragonlance or whatever. You can make it up as you go because really at the end of the day, even if you set it in, let's just say Kryn, which is Dragonlance, are you really there? They're also adding a complete bestiary on dragons and a variety of new dragons, like I said, and dragon-related creatures, including aspects of the dragon gods and dragon minions and more. That's all the details that they've released about this new book, and I think it's going to be fantastic.
That's a lot of dragon stuff.
Yes.
Wyverns.
It's literally called the Fizband's Treasury of Dragons.
Why is it to me that, like, yeah, of course dragons are, dragons. They're awesome. But then, like, the creatures that spawn from them, like the wyverns and the other things, they're just as, like, maybe even more scary to me.
Yeah, they're not as majestic. They get a more savage nature to them.
Yeah.
I think. And they're a lot grosser because, like, don't they have like the dragon upper arms and like the way they can be either ground wyverns or wyverns, if however you call it, or they can have like just the wings and just crawl along the two arms.
Well,
of the
the
ground.
difference between the two, dragons have legs and arms. Wyverns, their arms are incorporated into their wings.
That explains it.
So
Okay.
they have the rear legs,
So-
no real front legs.
So wyverns are scarier than dragons.
Yeah.
if maybe
Based
in
off
your
of-
opinion.
And also, like, even like dragon worshippers are usually like worse beings than dragons themselves because dragons are in their nature. I mean, they're
Well, depending on, chromatic
kind,
or
right.
metallic.
Yeah, exactly.
And each of the chromatic dragons tend to have their own different personalities. Like red dragons, they're the ones that really love to hoard. They love to control. It's not just, here I am, leave me alone. That might be more your white dragon. So each dragon color has its own mannerisms, places that they live, and things of that sort.
and dragons exist through a lot of different lore. But I'm trying to think of are there any things that are like very consistent? Like,
Slut dragon. You're a slut dragon.
Slut
Well-
dragons. Yes. Rick and Morty, wonderful episode. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, because D&D is like kind of our basis for a lot of. Well, Marcus, you're you're better versed, more versed. You know more about science,
About dragons.
about not science fiction. Tiny, you gave me your stroke. You handed me your stroke
Yeah,
over.
You're welcome.
I need
that
to.
doesn't sound
I
good.
need to just. oh no, Tiny!
I do
don't
not
do
need
that.
Tiny handing me
No,
a stroke here and
Hold
there.
on, hold on, hold on.
That's not.
My doctor
Marcus-
did say I could have a stroke at any time. And then he got mad when I pulled out my wiener.
I
He told you to leave it in.
dang it.
It was his fault.
Dragons
High
have
fantasy. You know more about high fantasy than me.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, a lot of cultures had their high fantasy, if you will. They had their myths and their legends. I mean, dragons are very human, if you will. Like they go back as far as we can tell.
Well, I know like a
It's
lot
like an
of
archetype in the human mind, almost.
I know a lot of different mythos for dragons. They do tend to hoard like precious metals and gold and jewels and things like that, but they can also shift into like a humanoid shape.
Yeah.
But they still maintain some aspects like
Yeah, and I think
their
for a
eye
lot of
color and
for a lot of the ancient
Things like
depictions
that.
of dragons, I think most of the time they're kind of it's like the unknown. It's the the chaos right outside of the order of the town. And so the hero has to go and learn things and win back gold for the town.
Right.
Kind
and
of.
they're also usually ancient.
It's
because
hero
it's
myth.
So
Hero myth.
long, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the most recent depiction of a dragon I saw was in The Witcher. The episode with the dragon. Have you seen? You've not watched The Witcher, Marcus?
I watched 5 episodes.
That's almost all the episodes.
Yeah.
Marcus, you ignorant slut.
I couldn't finish it.
I mean, I've seen only.
I DNF'd it.
I've only seen 2 episodes, so
Maybe I'll try again when the
there's
new
a-
season comes out.
There's a pretty cool the dragon situation in that is more of a wisdom, like wisdom is what, and that's something with the wise ancient dragons. I didn't know if many of those, if that kind of characteristic of dragons was pretty spread out in most mythos, was that they carry wisdom with them.
I'm not sure. I mean,
it's
because
just
it goes back even
mostly
further than
chaos.
just Western literature, which I would be more familiar with the Beowulfs and the Western literature.
right.
But Tiamat is like an actual Mesopotamian or somewhere in the I don't know. I'm going to show my ignorance here, but there's the first culture that we've have evidence of, not Babylon, but
What the
Mennonites?
The first.
He's the ancient dragon of the Mennonites.
look.
I bet it's a
Mennonites
bearded
trained
dragon.
both body and mind to protect the people from dragons.
Because they got their name from men of knights,
Yes.
right? So, and knights would fight
and it took
dragons
them
and stuff
many
like
nights
that.
to be fully trained.
And also, they had to sacrifice their mustaches, and they can never regrow
Yeah,
their mustaches because
If
they're fighting
they do,
bearded
they've
dragons.
been dishonored.
Sanskrit is like their language or like their written hieroglyph.
Sumerians?
Sumerian. Thank you.
Yes.
Done. So-
Tiamat is like a Sumerian creation myth kind of thing.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's a multi-headed dragon.
Yeah, I
yes.
mean, they're related to the
She's like-
Mennonites and the Amish.
definitely.
They've been around since.
Yeah, this is true. And every other culture in the world.
yeah. They're kind of the basis of it all.
Yeah.
The seed.
Well, it's the first one we have evidence of. I'm sure maybe there was some before.
I must ask you boys a question. Y'all done with this episode?
Never.
I am.
yes.
Thanks for listening on whatever you're listening to it on. Like, what is it? What
My
is it people
phone.
listen to? On
Yeah,
your phone?
phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
phones, yes. There's apps like Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, Podcaster.
My computer.
No, not Podcaster. What's the one called, Tiny?
Castbox?
Castbox, thanks. That's one. Good Pods is another one. You can listen to us on there. But I think mainly iTunes with the rating system that they have, to where they have 5 stars, like the 5 heads of Tiamat. Does Tiamat have 5 heads? I don't know. I
Yes.
don't know how many heads Tiamat has.
5 heads, and they're all the different chromatic colors.
It really is 5?
My dragon lore
Wonderful. Like the 5 heads of Tiamat, the dragon of the Sumerians, you need to give us all of those, because if you only give us 4 heads of Tiamat, then he's going to bleed out. So help us out.
And if you're okay with spilling a little bit of the dragon's blood on you, but you have an apron on because it's a capron and you didn't get any of it on your real clothes, Bruce, just scoot on over to Twitter, and Facebook, and Instagram, to where you can look up at Nerd Grapevine, or you can get on our Patreon, to where you can donate just a little bit to the cause, as my father would say, and you will receive our eternal gratitude and a Nerd It Through the Grapevine sticker. And just make sure you don't stare too deeply into the holographics, because it might actually cause your brain to have a little bit of
You'll see Cthulhu, and it will cause discord inside of your mind. Because to see Cthulhu and to learn about Cthulhu's mythos is to go insane. So come to Discord and go insane with us. We're on there live, uncut, and uncensored. There's a link down in the description. Click it. It'll take you there, regardless of if the fact that you may be on a Apple product or an Android product. It'll be great. Join us. It's a backyard bonanza, baby.
Uncut and unsleepy.
Yeah, unsleepy, uncut, uncensored, uncircumcised, everything.
all those things.
Well,
Then we
I don't
always
know about
disagree
some
on
of
that
those
one.
things.
And that brings us to figure out the question that's been plaguing everyone's minds this week, and that is going to be Marcus's. Marcus, when life gives you grapes,
You go out into the mountains and you find the dragon's hoard. and then you just leave him some grapes. I guess, I don't know.
A gift for you, dear elder dragon.
Now give me all your gold. I wonder what dragon would taste like.
Oh,
I feel like it'd be kind of chickeny.
shark.
Chickeny, yeah.
Everything tastes like chicken.
You know
Imagine
what? I like mine
dragon
with
wings.
lettuce. I like mine with lettuce and
Like
tomato.
buffalo dragon wings.